From the heartland of America, focused on God, family, and country, the mouthpiece of the Midwest. This is Dale Carter's America.
Welcome back to our fun-filled podcast today, where we're going to tackle quite a few things. Like there's nothing going on in the world, right, Kurt?
Yeah, exactly.
There are some things going on, and we're going to get to all of it today on the podcast. Not so much on the blow-by-blow with what's going on with Iran, because quite frankly, by the time this thing posts and it airs, there could be a lot of change. But we'll talk about some of the background on it and maybe my speculation anyway on what led us to this point. There's other stuff to talk about as well. Bill and Hillary and the cringe-worthy videos that have come from the deposition. That's going to be fun. So we'll get to all of that. We thank Bob Watson for jumping on board with the podcast. He is my State Farm agent. He would love to be your State Farm agent. We're about to go through thunderstorm season, hail season, all bad things for your house. Is it insured properly? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and Bob Watson would love to give you a rate quote. Bundle your home and car insurance. You'll save even more. You can find him at 816-229-7878. His office is at 7th and Main in Blue Springs, but he's not limited to Blue Springs. He's not even limited to Missouri. He's licensed in both Kansas and Missouri, and he'd love to pitch for your business. He's been with me for, it'll be 31 years next week.
Wow.
That's that's longer than I was married to any of my 3 wives.
Yeah. It's almost as long as I've been alive.
Yeah. Bite me.
It's just
He's giving,
fact.
just
It's
so
just
you
a
know,
fact.
you people who are getting to the beginning of the podcast, he's already given me crap today because I have a water bottle and I refill the water bottles, right? I'm trying to drink 3 of these a day, which has been a key to my weight loss. And I wrote on it when I bought it, so I know what's the oldest water bottle when it's time to pitch it. Doesn't do much for your boomer reputation. Thanks a lot, Kurt. Fine.
I mean, you didn't have to bring it up on the podcast.
It's going to be that kind. Well, you put it in the shot. I mean, it's right here. So, what the hell. All right, where are we at here?
We love Bob Watson.
We love Bob Watson.
Yes.
And how can folks get this wonderful podcast of ours?
Yes, you can subscribe on YouTube or Rumble for the video podcast. Make sure to drop a like, drop a comment, share the link with your friends. Also find the audio-only version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to follow us on Facebook as well. Join in the conversation.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun over there. And definitely get a lot of keyboard warriors going. And it seems like we always get a new crop. There's one guy in particular, I'm not going to give his name because I don't want to give him any more credence, but he really is vicious on me on the podcast page on Facebook. And I looked at his page. He has like 300 friends and never gets any traction on anything that he puts up. So he's coming looking for a crowd, and he found a crowd. So there you go. As we record this week's podcast on KFKF, we are conducting our 30th annual Country Cares St. Jude Radiothon, and I would love it if the podcast audience, I know Mark Zarda, he's on vacation down in Texas, and he sent me a note, and he says, hey, even I can renew my Partner in Hope donation from a beach in Texas. Anybody can do it. So if you do it, because of when the podcast is going to post, the easiest way to make sure that your money gets counted toward our radiothon is to go to kfkf.com and do it on the website. There's a t-shirt every year that's commemorative of the radiothon. And the coolest thing this year, in addition to the t-shirt, we have this zippered hoodie. This is why you got to watch the podcast and not just listen to it, because this zippered hoodie, as I'm moving around, it's the Music Gives. And if you see the logo on the back, you see that?
Yeah.
That was designed by Danny Thomas's grandson. Now, you're probably going, who's Danny Thomas?
Yep.
Are you really?
Yes.
Seriously. Okay, so, again, boomer. Danny Thomas was a Hollywood actor, a producer of television shows. He produced a lot of television shows, like in the 60s and 70s. Make Room for Daddy was his television show. Have you heard of Marlo Thomas?
Nope.
Okay, well, He was her dad. Anyway, he made a deal with God when he was poor and down to his last few dollars. He prayed to St. Jude and he said, make me a star and I'll build you a shrine. And all of a sudden he got a call for work and his career just took off from there. It blossomed from there. And so he talked to the Catholic Church and he said, I made this promise. What can I do? And they said, what we really need is a hospital, to research cancers that are killing kids. And the Catholic Church had land in Memphis, Tennessee, which is why it's there, but it's a hospital without walls. And the research that happens at St. Jude, it's just incredible, and it's shared freely with hospitals all over the world. There's no billing department. They don't charge out of pocket for travel, treatment, housing, or meals. Parents get to, because you've got little kids. Can you imagine how devastated you guys would be if something happened to one of your kids like that?
For sure.
Yeah. So you want to focus 100% on your child. And that's what St. Jude is. So become a partner in hope. You get both of these goodies. We've been doing this for 30 years. KFKF's radiothons alone have raised $7 million to knock out childhood cancer.
Wow.
And with our Dream Home project, which goes along with that, that number jumps up to $12 million. So it's really been good for knocking out childhood cancer, and we continue to do it with our 30th annual. We've learned lessons along the way. I have told people this, and I believe it to be true, that I've made every mistake in all the years we've done these radiothons that you could possibly make. Hell, we're probably making mistakes as I speak. But what we try and do is, after the fact, we learn from the mistakes. And that may well tie in to what we're going to talk about today on the podcast. The campaign for Jackson County's 5th District continues. The update on that is my friend Jeannie Lauer has decided to not seek re-election.
Oh, boy.
To the seat this year.
Big news. Big news.
So there, at this point, doesn't look like there's going to be a primary challenge. I mean, somebody might come in at the last minute. Who knows? However, there is a Democrat who is seeking this seat. His name is Antoine Jennings. He also from Blue Springs. Now, I've lived there 31 years. I'd never heard of him before this. He ran against Mike Searpoy for the Missouri Senate seat that Mike has back in 2022. He came within 8,000 votes of beating him. Do you know who Mike Searpoy is?
Yeah. So we've had him
Yeah.
at an event or on the podcast or something.
So I looked into it. He went to Ballotopia and he filled out a questionnaire. His big issues, you're going to love this, Kurt. You're going to love it. His number one issue is bodily autonomy.
No, we know what that means.
What is that code for?
We know what that means, don't we?
I broke down the code at the We the People speech I did on Monday night. So I'll ask you, what does bodily autonomy mean to you?
Well, abortion, probably.
Ding.
Yep. And then also maybe some trans stuff in there.
Ding.
Yep,
Those are the two.
And that's his top issue.
That's his top issue. Raising the minimum wage. That's another big issue for him. Without any respect to the economy, just, hey, pay people more. Just pay people more. Screw the economy. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if he's going to want to come on the podcast. I'd love to have him on. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
Yeah. So I'll reach out to him.
I can be the moderator.
I'll see if he wants to come on the podcast. That might be fun.
This is him?
Yeah.
All right.
Again, I don't know him. He ran for school board in Blue Springs and did not win. He lost to Mike Searpoy. Yeah, because I want what's best for Jackson County. Right now, it's a circus. They continue to debate and vote on unenforceable ordinances. The legislature this week voted 6-1 to prohibit any new detention centers being built. Now, that is a message to the federal government. No, you cannot have an illegal immigrant facility in Jackson County. It's not enforceable. They could do it through eminent domain, condemnation. There are a lot of ways they could do it. The county does not have that authority, yet they voted for it, and they're gonna move forward with it. 6-1 was the vote on that deal. Only Sean Smith voted against it. They continue to debate and table the issue, requiring law enforcement to remain unmasked. Now, both of those things, one is already passed. The other one could well pass with the majority they have of Democrats down there. What's going to happen out of all that is litigation. So you, Kurt, as a Jackson County taxpayer, Your tax dollars are going to go to pay lawyers to defend something that is completely ridiculous.
Yep.
So that's the circus that Phil Lavoda is trying to be the ringmaster of, and he needs help, which is why I'm running, and I hope I win. And if I don't win, you know what? It'll be somebody else's problem. But I'm at least willing to get in there and try. I mean, the focus ought to be 100% on assessment. That's all voters care about. That's why Frank White was shown the door, was the assessment debacle. That's why overwhelmingly voters are saying they want an elected assessor in Jackson County. And again, Jackson County is the only county in Missouri that does not have an elected assessor. So the sideshow is on, and we'll see how that goes. You can help out my campaign. And again, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. What I'm looking for is a lot of people signing up here. Whatever, I mean, $25 I think is the minimum. And the donate button, are you on that?
Yep.
Can you back out of that on how to get there? Because I had somebody try and they said it was difficult to find.
Right at the top of the page, dalecarter.us, right in the top right-hand corner, giant red button. You can't miss it.
Okay. All right. Maybe that person.
I just have to say, though, I'm scrolling through your website here, and I do not see bodily autonomy on the issues, so we might need to address that.
It's not, yeah. What do I want to say there? I think we'll just keep moving because I think most people who watch or listen to this podcast kind of know.
I'm serious, though. I want this to be on record, on video. I will moderate a debate. I'll be a good moderator.
With Antoine?
I'll be a good, fair moderator. I won't chime in at all. I'll just moderate. I'll totally do that.
You won't look at me on one of his answers and like roll your eyes off to the side?
No, I'll be on camera the whole time. I'll be sitting right here.
All right. All right. Well, I'll reach out to him.
Okay.
We'll see where it's going to go. Meanwhile, Max Motors is with us. And, Mark Muller says if you don't buy from one of the Max dealerships, at least buy American. He's got the American-made vehicles you want. And, yes, he's out in the outlying areas like Richmond, Clinton, Butler, and Nevada. But they're a small-town dealership. They've got Ford, Chrysler, GMC, all of the American-made brands, and with low overhead, they can beat the big city dealerships all the time. They're the Amazon of car dealers. Mark really wants to change the car buying experience. You pick the car you want from any of his websites, and they will bring it to you to do the deal. MaxMotors.com is where you find all of the selection. Easiest place you will buy your next car. Small town American values, God, family, country. And again, if you don't buy from Max, at least buy American. And when you do buy that next vehicle, for God's sake, take care of it. Because you may have it for a while, right? So you want to keep it maintained. And the Christian Brothers Automotive locations, they take care of my cars, especially the one in Independence owned by Tim Porter. Each location is independently owned and operated. I take mine right there to 19600 East 40 Highway. It is just to the east of 291, 470, whatever you want to call that right there. Just drive east and you'll see Christian Brothers right there in the middle of the median. And they work on everything, every brand you can imagine. And they do, of course, the maintenance things like changing the oil, rotating the tires, changing out the filters and all that. But if it comes to something really big, you're going to get a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty, whichever benefits you best. They work on everything, including hybrid and electric cars. Get a maintenance deal going with them immediately, right? Get the oil changed on that car. It's something you got to do I think with synthetics, 5,000 miles. Does that sound right? Mm-hmm. 816-795-6811. 816-795-6811. Tim Porter at Christian Brothers. Find the location nearest you at christianbrothersauto.com. All right, the war in Iran obviously has broken out. News coming in nearly hourly on that. We sunk one of their battleships with a submarine. Do you know that has not happened since World War II?
I didn't even know they had battleships.
Yeah, the Iranians have battleships. Most of them are now submarines because they're at the bottom of the water. But, we sunk it with a missile from a submarine. And again, that hadn't been done since World War II.
Yeah.
So a
massive escalation happening every day.
No doubt about it. I want to go back in history, though, and focus on U.S.-Iranian relations. We have to go back to November 4th, 1979. Before you were born, Iranian militants stormed the U.S. Embassy and took 52 American hostages. When you storm somebody's embassy in your country, that is an act of war. And we've been at war with that country ever since. And, history is going to look back and they're going to judge what's going on now. They're going to judge what presidents have done over the years. I think it's universally accepted that the invasion of our embassy in Iran was the beginning of the end of the Jimmy Carter presidency. If he had any chance at all against Ronald Reagan, that's what sunk him. He looked weak. He looked feckless. He ordered a rescue mission, and we got some people killed out of the rescue mission, and we looked weak. We don't want to look weak. And out of all of this, we need to also focus on the beyond Iran story, because China's watching this and Russia is watching this. And so I think with Trump, again, he's playing three-dimensional chess where a lot of people are playing checkers. So keep an eye on what Trump is doing. So the hostages, going back to the history lesson, were released when Ronald Reagan was sworn in. Presidents Reagan through Biden, and that includes Trump 1.0, had varying policies with Iran. And I've labeled them 4 different ways: containment, ignoring them, sanctions, and appeasement. We've tried all those things. Trump 1.0 came in and he tore up the Obama nuclear deal, which we've talked about at great length. The Obama nuclear deal sought to slow down their pursuit of nuclear weapons, bribing them with money that had been frozen, their own money that was frozen through a sanctions protocol. So we gave them money, wink, wink, nod, nod. We know that you're eventually going to get to a nuclear weapon, but could you slow walk it a little bit? Certainly didn't end it. So Trump tore that up, got tough talk with the Iranians, and then Biden comes in 4 years later. He restored it. Back to Trump 2.0. He tears it up again. And Donald Trump is a guy who's not ever going to run for anything again. And he knows it is looming that we've got a midterm coming up in 2026. History will tell you that the party in power, the president in power, is going to lose seats. And the margin for error is so small right now that probably we're going to lose the House. Most people say that, right?
Yeah.
Chance we might lose the Senate. We'll see how it all goes. So he's got his foot on the accelerator trying to get as much done as he possibly can. So he comes in for his second term, and think about what Donald Trump wants. Donald Trump's a business guy. He wants to get commerce going, right? That in the first term, he had the Abraham Accords. He's trying to get peace in the Middle East. A lot of presidents have tried that. I think they've all failed to one degree or another. Bill Clinton tried to get the Palestinians and the Israelis on the same page, and giving Yasser Arafat everything he wanted. Yasser Arafat walked away from the table, and Bill said, "I'm done with this." Probably got an island I'm going to go to, maybe a hot tub I'm going to sit in. That's coming up. That's the fun stuff coming up. So anyway, back to what we're talking about here. Iran uses the proceeds of the nuclear deal with Obama and Biden to export terrorism. They fund Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthi rebels. Okay. Then you get to October 7th and all that stuff going on. So as we in Israel have attacked them, they are scattering missiles throughout the Gulf states and Turkey. It's kind of like the end of a fireworks display. They're shooting off everything that they've got left. They shot at Turkey. What did Turkey do to them? They shot at the Gulf states. What did the Gulf states do to them? All they're doing is turning more and more people against them. What I want to know is, who are their allies? Do they have allies?
I don't know.
They have frenemies. I mean, they got China and they got Russia, who depend on their oil, but I don't think they're coming to their aid. And as far as China goes, their anti-air defense systems have been shredded. So this message sent may well go beyond Tehran. Now, inside Trump's head, again, what is he looking for? He wants this done. He wants commerce. He wants all these things. And he doesn't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Every president has said Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. Obama said to Syria, if you go beyond this red line, we're going to attack you. They went beyond the red line, so it meant nothing. When this president parks 2 aircraft carrier groups and all the ships associated with that off your shore and tells you this is what you need to do, I think they should take him seriously.
I thought we destroyed the nuclear program last summer.
Well, spoken like a Democrat.
I mean, that's what they said.
They have not restored that area, and they can't restore that area, but they are trying. They want to.
Right. So if the goal was destroying the nuclear facility, I thought we already did that.
Yeah. Well, we feel like they still had the opportunity and the wherewithal to get that going again. And this president says that's not acceptable. So
okay.
There we go. Yeah. So a lot of keyboard constitutional scholars egged on by members of Congress who do know better for the most part. I'm not going to say somebody like Jasmine Crockett has actually read the Constitution, but most of them know that they're on the wrong side of this. The War Powers Resolution. I put a diagram up on the podcast page that is like a pictogram for dummies who might be able to see how the War Powers Resolution works. Do you know, Kurt, why we have a War Powers Resolution?
Tell me.
Well, Korea, Vietnam. In Korea, President Truman, without any input from Congress, committed us to a war. I mean, it was a full-on war. And frankly, that's a war that we don't have a peace treaty for. All we have is a DMZ, right? We have a no fire zone or whatever, a truce, I guess. We don't have a full-on peace treaty with North Korea. So it basically came down to a draw. And then you go to Vietnam, where JFK sends advisors over, and before you know it, LBJ is president, and we are hip deep in Vietnam, right? And we know from Vietnam that we lost over 50,000 American soldiers, and it just went on and on and on. Why did it go on and on and on? It went on and on and on because LBJ said, I'm not going to be the first president to lose a war. And then Nixon comes in, and his whole campaign was, I have a secret plan to end the war. And then he gets in there, and he opens up another theater of bombing. Mm-hmm. Because, again, Richard Nixon and LBJ came out of that World War II generation, and they were not going to be the first American presidents to lose a war. It took Gerald Ford to end it, and by 1973, Congress said that's enough of that because the Constitution is kind of vague. Yes, you are the commander-in-chief, but only Congress can declare war. So they put up this War Powers Resolution thing. You got that up?
Oh, yeah, I just had it up while you were talking.
So I can't really read that. Can you take us through the pictogram diagram?
Sure. So the top says how the War Powers Resolution works. President uses military force without advance congressional approval. President notifies Congress within 48 hours.
Which he did.
The mission can last up to 60 days without congressional approval, plus 30 days if needed for troop safety. Congress must vote to authorize force. If failed, troops must withdraw by day 60 or day 90 if extended. If passed, mission continues.
Yeah. Number one, I don't think it's going to go that long because now the Democrats are saying no more forever wars. Trump ran on no more forever wars. I don't think he sees this as a forever war. We'll see. We're about a week into this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has complied with every step of the War Powers Resolution. As far as I can tell. Do you think he has?
I don't know how much to say because I just totally disagree on this whole thing.
You can disagree on it, and we're not going to have, I know where you are on Israel and all that. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not doing that. We're talking about America's role in this and where we're going from here. And I'm asking you, based on that diagram, do you think he has complied with the War Powers Resolution?
Well, it kind of depends on the whole withdrawal thing because, I mean, we bombed them last year, and now we're back. So it's like... that's more than 60 days. I mean, it's not as simple as you go in and you do this and then you leave and you never go back because it's an escalation. It's a further escalation of the conflict. So even if we stop after this week, that's not going to be the last thing. There's going to be another thing because now Iran is escalating, Israel's escalating, we're escalating. And so, I mean, we'll be back at some point. So I don't know whether that counts or not. I don't really know what the justification is.
Well, let's switch gears then and examine Obama's Libya campaign. That campaign went on for 7 months. How many days are there in 7 months?
Like 140, 150.
The War Powers Resolution requires reporting to Congress at the 90-day interval, which Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton at the time completely ignored. They didn't even do it.
Right.
So,
yeah, but that's like a, just because they did it doesn't mean that we should do it.
I'm just telling you, maybe if Barack Obama had done this, the Democrats would all jump on board. I think they probably would.
Well, didn't they when they defended him when they went into Libya to overthrow Gaddafi? They were all defending him for that.
Exactly. That's my point. Nancy Pelosi on that. Roll the tape.
All right. Sorry, 1 second. And here we go.
Madam Leader, you're saying that the president did not need authorization initially and still does not need any authorization from Congress on Libya?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you all.
Not a really long clip, but a very telling clip from Nancy Pelosi. So 7 months bombing Libya. What was America's interest in bombing Libya?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what America's interest is in bombing Iran.
Iran's a bad actor.
Okay, well, I mean, Gaddafi was a bad guy, wasn't he? Wasn't he a bad guy?
They are the world's leader in exporting terrorism around the world. How many Americans have they killed since 1979?
I have no idea.
You want to let them go on the act of war they committed in 1979? Just say, hey, it's been 47 years. We don't care.
I mean, does that call for a regime change war? Like, I mean, why didn't we bomb him in 1979?
Exactly.
I'm serious. Like, if it was such a big deal, why are we waiting until now to do it?
Why did we wait so long?
Okay, then
there's both sides of that
if the argument you want to make is we should have bombed them this whole time, then I mean that's a take, I guess, but I just don't agree with that.
All right. Asked if the hand-wringing in Congress is hypocritical, Hakeem Jeffries, the current minority leader of the Democrats, has an interesting reply.
Thank you, Leader Jeffries. Back in 2011, Nancy Pelosi said that then President Obama didn't need congressional approval to bomb Libya. Now House Democrats say President Trump needs that approval to bomb Iran. What's the difference?
Well, obviously, Libya and the circumstances connected to that were very different than the circumstance that we face in Iran right now. I mean, I don't even understand the genesis or basis of that question. Not suggesting that you're not asking it in good faith.
Libya went on for 7 months.
As I've indicated, first of all, it was not in Congress at the time. So we're dealing with what we're dealing with right now, which is a catastrophic, endless war, as Donald Trump has characterized it, without any justification that there was going to be a preeminent assault or attack on the United States of America, either in our homeland or as it relates to our interests in the Middle East. The administration is not even pretending like they have intelligence or information at this point, publicly. And certainly there's been nothing that has been presented to us privately to justify a preemptive strike of this nature that has triggered an all-out war in the Middle East. And by the way, Donald Trump is the one who said in the aftermath of the 12-day war that Iran's nuclear program has been completely and totally obliterated. Not my words, his words. So was he lying to the American people then, or is he lying now?
Boy, he definitely changed the subject on that because I don't know that he ever answered the question about Libya other than that's different.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what people are saying about Iran now, though. It's like the answer is basically because, well, they did it then and we're doing it now, and they're the bad guys and we're the good guys. That's the only
By the way, you say we've opened up a major war in the Middle East. Where are Iran's allies? Who's on their side?
Well, it's going to be a prolonged thing. I mean, it's a country of 90 million.
How do you
people.
know that?
They have 1 million people
You don't know that.
in their military.
You do not know that. How do you know it's going to be prolonged? They have no allies.
How is it not going to be prolonged?
We'll see. I mean, history is definitely a backward-looking thing, and Donald Trump is going to be judged on this historically.
I mean, doesn't every precedent that we've had in the Middle East. Like every time we try and go in, we're just going to go in and go out. We're just going to overthrow Saddam. We're just going to overthrow Gaddafi. We're just going to get rid of Al Qaeda with no plan of what's going to replace it, you know, and doing it, let's just say, not in our own interest and other people's interests. I mean, what's the precedent for that? It's clear, and it's not going to just be over. And in fact, with this case, I mean, Iran's a bigger country. They have a bigger military. They have more money. Like it's not that simple. It's going to require boots on the ground and a major military invasion to actually, like, you know, overthrow the government.
I don't know that that's true. And I hope.
And even that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but even that, the goalpost has changed, because it was, well, we just don't want them to have a nuclear program. And they were saying back last year, they were saying, this isn't about regime change. We're not going to send people in. This isn't about regime change. And now it's about regime change. So they just moved the goalpost.
Because we took out the Ayatollah. So my hope is that somewhere in the White House, they've had meetings about this. They have learned from things like Iraq and Afghanistan. And my hope is, I don't know. You're not in the meetings. I'm not in the meetings. You're speculating. I'm speculating. That's all we're doing right now. Would you give me that?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a foreign policy expert, but
let me finish my point. So my hope is that somewhere in the bowels of the White House, they have contacted people in the opposition, that they have a secondary and a tertiary leadership plan in place for Iran, and that's what's going to happen. And there won't be boots on the ground. And that once we finish what we're doing here in this initial run here, that we'll move forward with a more reasonable government, and the Middle East will find some peace out of all of this. That is my hope. I didn't send them in. He sent them in. All I'm doing is trying to speculate on what's going on.
That's just a fairy tale, though. I mean, that's what they said about Iraq. That's what they said about Syria. That's what they said about Libya. It's no different. And in fact, it's actually much worse, because it's a more powerful country that, you know, is building nuclear weapons. So,
all right. Well, we'll see how it turns out. Meanwhile, in this country, the Democrats are saying, what about all the sleeper cells? You know, Iran's got sleeper cells here in the United States. What about them? What about them? We still aren't funding the Department of Homeland Security, because Senate Democrats are holding up that funding because they want changes to ICE that Republicans won't agree to, like what they're trying to do in Jackson County, that you got to have your face uncovered. Which, you know, as long as you want to turn doxing into a felony with real prison time, we might be able to have that conversation. But because the protesters and the agitators out there are basically doxing these people, which is, you know, telling people where their kids go to school, where they go to church, their family life, their home address and all that, I get, because they're doing a very difficult job here. We need the Department of Homeland Security now more than ever. If you Democrats are serious and sincere that you believe that there are sleeper cells from Iran here about to be activated, you know, why wouldn't you fund DHS?
Yeah, I have no comment on that. I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Seriously, you think that the filibuster in the Senate is okay?
Well, no, I mean, about the sleeper cells and, you know, all that stuff. I mean, it's propaganda. Who's telling us that? I would not trust the source.
I don't agree with it either. But the Democrats out there are saying we've got Iranian sleeper cells in this country. How can they on one hand say we have Iranian sleeper cells that could be activated at any point, but we're not going to fund DHS?
I don't know.
It seemed, yeah. So the reality of the situation is, and I think you would agree with this, that if this wasn't Iran with its oil reserves and strategic location on the Strait of Hormuz, nobody would care. If they were in interior Africa and they killed 20,000, 30,000 of their own people, which the Iranians did, we wouldn't care. Because it's happening now in Africa. You know?
Yeah.
You got some bad actors in Africa.
For a long time all over the world. I mean, everyone wants to point to atrocities being committed, you know, and I mean, again, not going to get myself in trouble, but like even that, you know, you have to think of where the numbers and where the source is coming from. But yeah, there's bad stuff happening all over the world. There's 6-7 billion people that want to move here. I mean, so
we're not going to let them. Meanwhile, the women of Iran are emerging from 5th century rules. Play that.
This is a different clip of Bill Clinton that you put in the notes.
Oh, well, then that's the wrong one.
Is there something I should look up? Or?
It was on Channel 9. It was basically Iranian women talking about how they were liberated now.
Okay, gotcha.
So I see where that's... You make some mistakes along the way. So
just imagine it. That's okay.
Imagine it that women are taking off their hijab. What is it? Hijabs.
Hijab.
Yeah. And it could be a new day in Iran. Or Kirk could be right, and they've got a 90 million military or whatever, and they're going to take us out. We'll see.
I didn't say that.
I'd put my money on the American military as we move forward. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that we have Iranian sleeper cells here in the United States. Wouldn't you like to have a firearm to protect your house, to protect your family? I mean, really, you should have it anyway, because there's a lot of bad guys out there, right? Somebody went to Nancy Guthrie's front door and took her out.
Yep.
Apparently, she still hasn't emerged. So wouldn't you like to have a firearm to protect your family and learn how to use it? I think you should. Clay Como shooters, they're our guys. 816-452-4867. They're at 69 Highway in Clay Como, right there between I-35 and I-435. Experienced trainers with law enforcement background, indoor shooting range, affordable pricing. They aren't a big box store. Neighborhood business looking out for the community. My wife bought her 12-gauge shotgun there, and they're teaching her how to use it and telling her that the fat guy that you live with is probably not a target. Just aim the other way, I guess. Protect yourself and your family. Find the right firearm and get trained on it at Clay Como Shooters. I think that's very, very important in these troubled times, especially when, Kansas City, Missouri is bragging that they only have a average 20-second hold time when you call 911. I can't fathom that. When I call 911, there's some serious shit going on.
Yeah.
Please hold.
Yep.
Really?
20 seconds is a long time to be.
And that's average.
Imagine if they have like the like smooth jazz hold music. There's like some chaos going on.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody breaking into your house and you're hearing smooth jazz on your phone. That's just completely wrong.
I hate to laugh about it. It's not funny. But.
It isn't funny, but what the hell. Kirk Doris, he is our guy with Medicare Simplified KC. You can find him on the web at MedicareSimplifiedKC.com. Medicare, it's a moving target, especially Mark Falter. We've had him on the podcast before talking about money. He talks about legislative risk in dealing with your money. Mm-hmm. And all that means is that anything that you're dealing with that the government's involved in, Congress can really screw up your life. And there's no better example of that than Medicare. So if you're approaching 65 or somebody in your family is, that's an important conversation you need to have with Kirk Doris at Medicare Simplified KC. 816-701-6661. Questions that might come to mind. Which plan? Which part of Medicare? What supplement will you need? And you won't pay Kirk Doris. He gets paid by the insurance companies, and he is there on your behalf to find you the right supplement to go along with Medicare. And then you can change it every year. If it wasn't the right one, come back and the next year, and Kirk will work with you again. Again, 816-701-6661. His cell phone is 816-529-4361. I don't think he'd mind me giving you that. And there it's 3600 South Nolan Road in Independence. And again, if you can't come to them, they will come to you with Medicare Simplified KC. All right, we got through the difficult part of this podcast. Let's get to the fun part, right?
Absolutely.
Epstein. The biggest comeback that anybody on the left has about Trump, and they throw it out there on our podcast page all the time. Epstein! When's he going to release the files? I mean, you don't think there's a there, do you?
I don't think that it's likely that there's anything significant that is incriminating against him, like criminally, Trump that is. Maybe like embarrassing details, he's a player, right? He is a playboy.
Right.
But I mean, I do think that his administration actively covered up the release of the files. Kash Patel is an embarrassment. Pam Bondi is an embarrassment. They should be fired and cast out from our society for what they did. And yeah.
No strong feelings there. Okay, well, let me give you my reasons why I think there isn't a there. Biden had these files for 4 years. I think anyone who does not believe that he didn't have people in the Justice Department combing through that thing with what is the Lexus, whatever that is, looking for any mention of Donald Trump.
Right.
You believe that, right? That they had the files for 4 years. They were probably doing that.
I mean, Pam Bondi said that she had the files, and then she turned around and said that there was nothing there. But I mean,
let's go back to the Biden term, though.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
They had the files for 4 years.
Yeah.
If they had found anything, surely they were actively looking, because, you know, they prosecuted the guy in every blue district they could prosecute him in, coming up with all these trumped up charges, pardon the pun, that they wouldn't have gone after anybody with unless they were running for president. So they had to have gone through all these files.
Yeah. But, you know, I think it's kind of one of those things where, like, everybody is implicated.
Yeah.
So if they release the files, then it's going to implicate them too, to a certain extent. I mean, obviously Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, all these other big Democrat donors that are going to the island and implicated in very serious things. So maybe it's a risk calculation on their part. Well, it's like, we could expose Trump for XYZ, but we're also going to be exposing ourselves and our people, and it's not worth it. So, you know, that would be my only theory as to why they would not if they had something incriminating.
Well, then let's go to my second thought on this. Trump vociferously ran on releasing the files.
Yes.
He's not stupid. If he did something illegal, even something that looked bad, I mean, we know what Trump is, to your point, and he's not going to run again. So what does he care if he did something embarrassing? I mean, the story that I'm hearing from the other side is that he turned Epstein in. Have you heard that story?
No.
That's out there. That when he got wind of what was going on, he's the guy who turned Epstein in. So he's out there running for president and saying that when I get elected, I'm releasing the files.
Right.
Now, you know if you've done something illegal, right?
Sometimes.
You would certainly know if you did something along those lines really bad, right?
Yeah.
Why in the world would you go in front of a microphone and say, I'm releasing all the files?
Well, because he did it to get elected. So then once you're elected, then you're elected. You don't have to campaign anymore once you're elected. So you make, I mean, people do it all the time. He said he was going to build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it in 2016. Where's the wall? He hasn't built it. They say all kinds of things to get elected. Everyone does it. So, I mean, he knew at the time that that was a very popular position, you know, especially amongst his base.
Yeah.
That was a big thing in the news, you know, all throughout the year of the campaign, 2023 and 2024. And so he made a promise that he was going to release it, and then he didn't. And like, what are you going to do about it? You're not going to do anything because you're, you know, just some guy and he's the president of the United States. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Although your stance on Donald Trump has evolved over the last 5 years.
100%.
I'm going to tell you that.
100%. I'll be the first to admit it, man. 100%.
Then there's Clinton. Play the tape on. We got a lot of clips on Clinton here, but here's Clinton on Trump.
Okay, here's this one.
The only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
And had you had any conversations with him since the early 2000s about this subject matter?
No. The only conversation.
Right. So there you go. He says
the lawyer is hawking over him. She's going to be a reoccurring theme throughout this whole thing.
Well, Bill and Hillary testified separately. That's probably good for Bill Clinton's gonads.
Yeah.
With some of the clips that you're going to see.
I think they like live in separate houses at this point.
Oh,
so.
come on. Why are they married? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they're so different as far as people go, too. And I know they say opposites attract, but Bill Clinton is a guy I'd sit down and have a beer with. He just seems like a good guy.
I mean, he seems like a total demon, but he seems like a fun hang.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
he's a fun hang.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you look back at his record, he did a decent job as president. I'm going to say that. So they testified separately. So some of these clips, you're going to wonder, where was Hillary with her broom to smack him upside the head? Because Bill swears it was just a neck massage.
Have you ever had contact with an individual by the name of Shantae Davies?
I believe Shantae was, that's a distinctive name, and so I think that was the name of one of his flight attendants.
Okay.
He's like, she's the black one, right?
Look at his face, though. He's just smiling.
Described on being on a 2002 Africa trip and providing massages. Was she or any other young female on that trip underage at that time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you ever receive a massage or have physical contact from her or anyone else on that trip?
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back rub, a neck rub.
Okay.
And I think Shantae did it, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Aren't these precious?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Okay, what about the hot tub?
All right. Sorry, I'm pulling these up as you.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of them.
No, it's okay.
What we're trying to get at is some context for the public on whether you remember this photo and any details you may be able to provide us about it. So do you recall the details of this photo or recall the photo being taken?
No, I don't think I ever knew the photo was taken.
Okay, and for those who can't see it, it's a photo of you in a hot tub. There's a person next to you here. Do you remember where it was taken? Where was it taken?
I'm almost sure that this taken, I think there's an adjacent photograph, which you probably have, that if people saw it, they would feel that someone was trying to con them showing this picture. But anyway, this picture was taken in Brunei. And we flew one night on a trip to Asia, the last very long leg.
You said we, who is that including?
Well, my TEL team that was working
Thank you.
on the AIDS issue, and Mr. Epstein was there, and Miss Maxwell. But anyway, we got to the end of the flight was Brunei. It's a tiny place, but a very wealthy one, and the Sultan of Brunei was a man that I had gotten to know well in my 8 years as president. And his first involvement with international matters was basically to join the Asian Pacific Economic Leaders Conference, which I started and which he attended. And then he was very proud of that, and he hosted, his time came to host it. You know, you do these things in rotation. And it came either at the very end of my term or maybe the next year. Anyway, he wanted, when he knew I was coming, he said he wanted to help me with my AIDS initiative, and he invited me to stay there. And he said, I want you to stay at this hotel, and I hope you'll use the pool. So I did, and then I got out and went to bed, exhausted.
Just for the record, there's another picture that also shows this as part of the larger pool area. Do you all have that so that he can refresh his recollection with respect to that?
We should have it. It's quite enlightening.
Great pool. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, why not?
If you watch this,
Yes, it's noted.
it'll
Yes.
give you a different feel.
Thank you.
Okay.
We don't have it with us right now.
Okay,
We do.
thanks. I just
have
wanted
it
to
as
make
well.
sure he knew the
And so were there other people in that pool or hot tub with you as well?
I don't think there's anybody in the hot tub. I didn't forgotten that there was anybody in the hot tub, but it was big, but it was about.
Well,
He's asking in the pool
it appears
area.
this photo, there's a girl over here. Is there someone?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
But he's also asking in the pool area whether other
Yes,
individuals.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so you don't know?
No, and then there were.
The irony is he probably didn't know who it was.
Yeah,
if
probably
you get
not.
my drift.
Keep names. So, bottom line is he says, I was tired. I just relaxed a little and I went to bed.
I just went to bed.
They asked him later in the clip if he had any sexual contact with anybody on that trip, and he said he didn't, so who knows. Now the question from Ghislaine Maxwell, is Bill Clinton really hung like a horse?
Oh, boy.
It's from GMAX, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, I read it.
We believe, well, it's redacted. Having seen the unredacted files, we believe that the two is to the same email. It says, sorry to hear about the Bellsberg stuff. is bad news, even worse, that it may be damaging. You know that one of my pet fears is that in London I am press toxic, so I hope that I never add to your woes in that department. If I hear anything, I will of course let you know. I could not help myself. There was one juicy little tidbit I did let out, the one about what a super stud that you are and how I have a crush on you and how you are hung like a horse. And, well, you get the picture. Hope you don't mind.
You're not supposed to be laughing, Bill.
with this email?
Are you saying at the time it was sent or in the preparation for this?
At the time that it was sent, were you familiar with it?
Oh, no.
Are you familiar with it before?
Yes, it's
Okay.
now famous.
Okay, what can you tell me about your
famous.
knowledge of this email?
So if his knowledge is only from when he was prepared for this hearing, that would have been with his counsel, or is that what are you asking for outside of any preparation for this hearing?
Mr. President, do you believe that Mr. Band sent this or received this email?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is. I just kept it in there because of the reference of hung like a horse.
Funny stuff.
Yeah. So one overriding thing about all of these clips is Bill really seems to be enjoying himself.
How could he not? Cut the guy a break.
Looking at the pictures. Now the lawyer takes the pictures away. Oh, no, I want to look at that. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She's like, this is going to be on Twitter.
Yeah,
I know
let's
it.
don't do that. Yeah. So I think it's pretty clear the Clintons have a complicated marriage. Roll that clip.
All right.
When you saw photos of your husband in a hot tub laying on a beach and getting massaged by other women, and you knew that Jeffrey Epstein was...
Just that opening is
Can
so
you imagine?
funny.
You know my wife, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine my wife getting that question? I wouldn't be here, first of all. She would have taken the Clay Como shooter shotgun she had, and I would not be in clips making funny faces like that. Sorry, go ahead.
When you saw photos of your husband in a hot tub laying on a beach and getting massaged by other women, and you knew that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in some of these trips and these things, did it concern you at all?
I'm here not to offer my opinions. I'm here to answer specific questions to the best of my ability.
When you saw your husband in these photos with young women being massaged, what went through your mind?
I am not going to speculate.
You didn't have any feelings about young women massaging your husband?
I am not going to offer opinions or speculation about anything that I have no context for and was not there.
After you learned that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of sex crimes with kids, did any of these photos of your husband with women being massaged on the beach, did it concern you?
I have no context for even answering that question. And I think, obviously the innuendo, all the rest of it.
I'm asking a black and white question. I'm not putting any leading statements into it or adjectives. Did you do anything to determine what was happening in those images or on those trips? That once you saw these photos, once you realized Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender of children, did you do anything to determine what was happening on these trips with your husband?
I don't find any of your questions to be relevant to the investigation.
What is relevant if a former president was traveling around with young women?
Well, you'll have a chance. You'll have a chance to talk to him tomorrow.
You said this morning you did not solicit funds from Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Did anyone solicit funds from Jeffrey Epstein on your behalf?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you ever invite Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to any of your?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of is the classic answer. And you notice she doesn't have the counsel with her. She's all on her own. She's ruthless, man. She can handle it.
She's cold.
She can handle the heat.
Yeah.
Bill, on the other hand, he's over here with the coffee like, I don't know what's going on.
Well, at one point, Hillary's fangs came out. Now, one thing about this clip that is interesting to me is their lawyers say that they wanted live coverage of these hearings. Okay? They didn't get that. For whatever reason, the Republicans didn't accede to that demand. So I guess somebody on the Republican side took a photo of Hillary and put that out. That they complained about. They wanted it live video streamed, but one picture gets out and she loses it.
I have
There
another
are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm done with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
You will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
So I would like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was.
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well.
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm
a conversation.
done for now.
Go off the record. And the pantsuit, the full pantsuit reveal.
She does have lawyers. They just don't want to sit too close to her. That's what's going on there. You know, and maybe in all of this, maybe we shouldn't be too harsh on Bill. I mean, he's been married to her for a very long time. I want to give Stephen A. Smith the final word on all this, the sports commentator and potential Democrat presidential candidate.
Same clip.
Yeah.
No,
Is it the same clip?
Yeah, it's the Hillary clip.
I hate it when I do that. Can you find it?
Stephen A. Smith Epstein.
Yeah.
Let's see.
There were a lot of clips in this one. And I see I got another duplicate down here, too.
This one?
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that the Epstein files were in existence and free to have been opened during the Biden administration. You were there for 4 years. How come you didn't open it as a Democratic Party then? What am I missing? I'm not saying I know. It's a legitimate question. Maybe I don't remember the answer. Maybe my extraordinary producers should be able to help me during the commercial break. But from my understanding, the same files that were open or being open now with the 220 pages of documents or whatever it is, with various emails, that could have been done when Biden was in office. Well, why didn't you do it? If it's so important now. What were the Democrats doing at that particular moment in time? See? This is the kind of stuff that smells.
There you go.
He's a good actor. I'll give that to him. He's a good actor.
See that I got other duplicates in here. Would it help you if I forwarded you the clips?
Yeah. I might be able to find him.
Okay. Because the next one is a duplicate, and then there's more duplicates down there.
Okay.
So I'm looking for
I'll work ahead. How
the
about
clip that has Clinton's State of the Union address versus Trump's State of the Union address. Okay.
Yep.
And while you're doing that, I'll tell them about Funhouse Pizza. What do you think?
Perfect.
Funhouse Pizza, 2 locations. They are in Lee Summit and Blue Springs, 50 Highway in Lee Summit, 7 Highway in Blue Springs. Jim Dingman runs a tight ship there. Pull your pants up when you go in, but you're going to get the best pizza in town. If you like your toppings piled high, that is a Funhouse Pizza. Thin, crisp crust, piled high with toppings, and the drinks are really cold too. And Jim has all kinds of fun atmosphere there with video games and rides for the kids. It's a great place to have a birthday party, team meeting. We got Little League coming up again this year. Maybe it's a birthday party. He's got you covered at Funhouse Pizza in his 2 locations. And we will be back in Lee's Summit this spring when the weather gets a little bit warmer. 50 Highway, Lee Summit, 7 Highway in Blue Springs. The best pizza in town is Jim Dingman's Funhouse Pizza. The market with what's going on over in Iran is all over the map. That's why if it's time for you to sell your house, either to get your first-time home, your second home that's got a lot more bedrooms in it, your home when the kids go off to college, or maybe a piece of land that you want to build on, Michael Schroer is the guy you should be reaching out to. If you got a house you want to sell, Michael can help you there as well. Maybe even time the market to where it's most advantageous for you. It's good to have a pro on your side, and that's what Michael Schroer is. He's with Remax Elite in Lee's Summit. You can find him at his number, 816-373-8400. That's the office number. He's not there a lot. I'll give it to you again a little bit slower, 816-373-8400. Cell phone is 816-520-9342. And his email address, you want to reach him that way, is michaelschroer56@gmail.com. Michael, spelled like you would normally spell Michael, SCHROER56@gmail.com. So, revisionist history. We just had Bill Clinton in the spotlight, so I wanted to compare his State of the Union speech to Trump's relative to illegal immigration. Did you find that?
So here's the clip of Clinton's, and we'll start there.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
There you have it.
So, yeah. And you know, we played Trump's clip from the State of the Union. Did you find anything where he's trying to get them all to stand up?
Yeah, we played that last week, so, I mean, I could find it again. But
that's all right. You get the idea. Yeah. But basically the hypocrisy. And I think Zoe Lofgren was one of the people they showed in the crowd there, and she is still in Congress. I mean, she's a lot older now, but she's still in Congress. What do you want to bet she stood for Bill Clinton and sat on her hands for Donald Trump?
I bet a good amount.
Yeah, it's probably true.
I ain't a betting man, but if I was.
Speaking of the border, Joe Biden is still out there. And remember, I want you to remember this. He still has presidential eligibility left. He could be what the Democrats need in 2028. He did get the most votes ever back in 2020. Remember that? He got more votes than any presidential candidate in the history of this republic, where usually a Democrat comes in about 69 million, upper 60s. He got over 80 million votes. So he could be their guy, right? He's still bragging about the border.
Yep, I do have that clip. And here it is.
The day I left office, border crossing into the United States were lower than the day that I entered that office inherited from Trump. He is, I won't say it. That's just a fact.
It's a fact, Jack.
On the day I left office, I handed Trump the strongest economy in the world.
Man.
In the world. That's not hyperbole.
Not hyperbole. It's a fact, Jack.
The day I left office.
He's
$700 billion and $1.3 trillion.
I mean, he's still out there. Why are they letting him out there?
I don't know. I guess they think. I mean,
is he going to run?
Compared to Kamala, he's maybe popular. So,
oh my gosh, I saw something yesterday. They had Tim Walz in front of Congress for something or other, and one of the Republicans questioning him said the quiet part out loud that we've talked about. You know, you had Barack Obama who needed to find somebody stupider than him to be VP, so he found Joe Biden. Biden needed to find somebody stupider than him, so Kamala Harris was there, and Harris had to find somebody, as hard as it is to imagine, stupider than her, and she found you, Tim Walz, and Walz just laughed. I mean, I don't know. So Gary McNamara, who has been a guest on this show before, this podcast before, he is the co-host of Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. His member of Congress, and he always tells me this, it's only by like 1,000 feet. His member of Congress, Jasmine Crockett, is out. She lost her primary battle to James Talarico, who's another guy I'm sure you'd have a lot to say about.
Oh, yeah.
Jasmine, graceful in defeat. Did you find her clip?
Is it this one?
Fred has already stated, we encourage each and every one of you to remain resilient. We cannot allow this type of behavior to be rewarded. Because so long as they know that they can win, even if it means cheating, then they will continue to do it. So I am asking you, I am begging you to make sure that you go ahead and figure out where it is that you are supposed to vote. Stand in line.
I guess it's just she's saying they cheated.
Well,
that was that particular
exactly. In that clip, she's asking the polls to stay open 2 hours longer so that her voters can find a poll so they can vote.
Yeah, well, we know that black people can't get IDs and they don't know how to vote.
Yeah.
And, they can't drive.
So
I'm not saying that. They're saying that.
Who cheated here? That's what I want to know. Who cheated to keep her from winning this primary against Talarico? Because remember, what's his name on CBS who's about ready to lose his gig?
CBS.
Late night. Glasses.
The nightly news?
No, the Late Late Show. Took Letterman's place. Spacing on his name right now.
Stephen Colbert?
Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
So Colbert was going to have Talarico on, and he claims that CBS pressured him to make that a YouTube-only interview because the FCC was going to crack down on them for equal time. This was not an equal time between Republicans and Democrats. It was an equal time between Jasmine Crockett and Talarico.
You're talking about when he had him on, because I have the clip pulled up here. He had him on the show.
Not on his show. They ran that on YouTube. They didn't run that on the broadcast network.
Oh, interesting.
Because, Stephen Colbert says that CBS cracked down and said, no, you can't do that. So who was tipping the scale toward Talarico? It wasn't Republicans. Republicans would love to run against her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do want to play this clip just because now we know what we're getting with the Democrats. This is very telling.
Well, for 50 years, the religious right, a political movement, that is the perfect description for it. They convinced a lot of our fellow Christians that the most important issues were abortion and gay marriage. Two issues that aren't mentioned in the Bible, two issues that Jesus never talked about. Jesus in Matthew 25 tells us exactly how you and I and every one of our fellow believers, how we're going to be judged and how we're going to be saved. By feeding the hungry, by healing the sick, by welcoming the stranger. Nothing about going to church, nothing about voting Republican. It was all about how you treat other people. I've said before, don't tell me what you believe. Show me how you treat other people, and I'll tell you what you believe. And I think in our faith, we've got to get back to those fundamentals. My granddad was a Baptist preacher in South Texas. And when I was little, he told me that Christianity is a simple religion. Not an easy religion, he would always clarify, but a simple religion because Jesus gave us two commandments: love God and love neighbor. And there was no exception to that second commandment. Love thy neighbor regardless of race or gender or sexual orientation or immigration status or religious affiliation. And it's why I have fought so hard for the separation of church and state in the state capitol in Texas, because
there's a lot more crazy clips you could pull on this guy.
Oh, yeah.
He believes in how many genders.
And it's all biblically justified in his eye, too.
He says God has no gender and, it's whatever. So honestly, I think Republicans will do well against either one of these people, but I think they would have loved to run against Jasmine Crockett. There was a clip that I had in there, and I know I've got them all duplicated here, but the one where Jasmine and Marjorie Taylor Greene went at each other.
Oh, yeah, that was a classic moment.
And, I'm thinking that with Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning from Congress and now Jasmine losing her seat, the guy who was cheering that the most was Comer, because he was the one with the whip and the chair trying to keep these two ladies from clawing their eyes out.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing with you.
Hold on.
After Marjorie Greene.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a commentary.
Yeah. I was when that all went down, I was waiting for Jerry Springer to emerge and the rest of the crowd to go, Jerry, because that would have been perfect. Not very dignified for Congress from either one of these people, and now neither one of them are going to be in Congress.
Here it is. We got to watch it.
Ms. Greene for 4 minutes and 21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
He's like, oh boy, here we go.
Ms. Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's a part of it.
I'm trying to find clarification on what qualifies.
Chairman, motion to strike those
I have no idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just said
You just voted to do it.
Y'all did it first, so you don't talk about
voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look, calm down. Calm down.
No, because this
I
is
would
what
like to
y'all
get
do.
through proceedings.
So I'm trying to get
Ms.
clarification.
Crockett, you're not
You don't wanna
recognized.
play
Ms.
games.
Crockett.
I can't hear you with your
And you
yelling.
don't want me
Calm
to
down.
Be,
Can you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise
down.
and then you
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
Y'all
it.
talk noise
Chairman,
If I
and
come
then
and talk
you can't
shit
take it.
about
Take a break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes.
Sitting U.S. Congressperson, Congresswoman, y'all talk noise and then you can't take it.
Well, let me give you the first lesson of women, since you're still relatively new to the marriage game. Never tell a woman to calm down. That will backfire on you faster than anything. Yeah. So Comer's probably going to throw a parade that he's not going to have either one of those women on his committee moving forward. We are moving forward with Royal Roofing and Solar. Austin Watterson and his company, they're the ones who put roofs on houses, and we're about to go through some nasty spring weather, it looks like, early spring weather with some storms and probably get some hail and stuff like that. You got to make sure you got the right roof on your house. And if it's roofed by Royal, you have the right roof on your house. After the winter we just came through, maybe you want to get Austin and his team on your roof to examine it. You never know what you're working with until you get a health report on your roof, and they will do that free of charge. If you need a new roof, man, you want to go with Roofed by Royal because they work with Tamco. Have you ever heard of Tamco?
Nope, not until now.
Great roofing product. They have what they call Hail Guard, and it's beyond Class 4. The best warranty you're going to get in roofing is going to come from Tamco, and it's even better when you let Royal Roofing and Solar put it on. Roofbyroyal.com. It's where you can read all about this. You can call and get an appointment to get up on your roof and see what you're dealing with. Austin works with insurance companies, not against them. The old model for roofers was your insurance company is your enemy. We're out to screw your insurance company. We're going to get you a free roof out of the deal. And now Austin's like, it makes more sense to make sure you've got the right roof so you get lower homeowners policy prices. So work with Austin Watterson and Roof by Royal, who is working with your insurance companies to get you the best deal that you can get. And then when you make that phone call to Bob Watson and you tell Bob Watson at State Farm, hey, Austin just put a Tamco roof on my house. It's Hail Guard, beyond Class 4. Bob's going to go, well, you're going to get a rate break on that. And then you bundle your home and car insurance, you'll save even more. You can reach Bob Watson at 816-229-7878. Auto, home, life, commercial insurance, boats. The pontoons will be back on the lakes here before you know it. He's licensed on both sides of state line in Missouri and Kansas. Like a good neighbor, State Farm and Bob Watson, my insurance agent, is there.
Tremendous people.
7th and Main in Blue Springs is where the office is, but he can rep you anywhere on the Missouri or Kansas side, so get that rate quote, 816-229-7878. Before we leave, obviously the tensions are high here, so we got to find something humorous to go out with, and I see I duplicated that clip too.
Yeah.
Did you find it?
I mean, it just says something on the humorous side about the ongoing conflict.
The puppet thing. I think I sent that to you.
Oh, did you text it to me?
I did text it to you.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's really funny and worth waiting and delaying until you find it.
All right, Ayatollah, it's time to give up the nuclear weapons program.
The program which does not exist even though it does.
Which I obliterated last summer even though I did not.
Which is why we cannot give it up.
Which is why you must.
And we might, but only if you will give up the sanctions which are not killing us even though they are.
Well, only if you give up your other weapons which you will not.
Donald, are you still talking to the Iranians even though you shouldn't?
Simmer down, baby. I'm already letting you take more land that you say is yours even though it isn't.
Why does he get to be the only country with nuclear weapons that don't exist even though they do?
I mean, you keep saying his country shouldn't exist even though it does.
Boshe, but...
Hey, wait a minute. What's that sound?
The sound of people who are not protesting even though they are.
Maybe I promised to help them again even though I didn't.
Donald, enough. You can't win a prize for ending a war that you didn't start unless you do.
You mean the prize that was given to me even though it was not? Well, now we're talking. Now we are really talking.
A lot of truth in that little puppet regime there, right?
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. All right, on that note, until next week, God bless our troops, keep them safe, and bring them home soon. And hopefully a lot of this will diffuse and we will go on. Or maybe Kurt's right and it's going to be an endless war with boots on the ground. I hope he's wrong. Until next week, this is Dale Carter's America.
The views expressed on Dale Carter's America are Dale's and Kurt Wheeler's. They do not necessarily reflect the views of KFKF or Steel City Media. Comments can be sent to dalecartersamerica@gmail.com. Check back for weekly episodes. Subscribe, spread the word, and give us a 5-star review. Thanks for being a part of Dale Carter's America.